to our Moore Street School Monthly Collaborative. Today, the topic is school safety. I appreciate y'all being on time and having your assignments complete prior to getting here. We like to, as with always, we like to start our meeting with discussing a success. It may or may not have anything to do with school safety, so who wants to discuss a success that we have experienced here at Moore Street School?
Well, I'd like to be first.
Okay.
Ms. Puckett. I am just overjoyed because I have one student who actually scored a 3. And you all, that's enough for the Georgia Milestone ELA, 11th grade. And also, I think they did the same thing, I'm quite sure, for geometry. So, that to me is a success for Moore Street School. Right. And then we have others who are actually, moving forward. They're moving up from the 1, to the 2. So that we're having great success rates, especially with the Georgia Milestone. So I think that's one thing. And
increasing our test scores has been one of our focuses. So we want to celebrate those successes as we're preparing for our next mid-month and our main administration of the Georgia Milestone assessments. And for those who don't know, a 3 represents proficient in that subject area. So that's awesome. Any other successes?
Moore Street School has been recognized as a pilot program for exemplary practices by the National Alternative Education Association.
That's awesome.
And because of that, Mr. Howell was able to go and present at the national conference on behalf of Moore Street School.
And I think Ms. Allen had discussed that she had some successes in her night school.
We've had 2 of our seniors finish all their classes, and they will be graduating in May.
Wow. So successes and motivation for us to continue to do the work here at Moore Street School that we all committed to doing, and our commitment is evident because we come every day, and sometimes we feel like it and sometimes we don't, but we're still here doing the work continuously, and I appreciate it. And I know the families, the students and families that we serve appreciate it as well. So, back to the business at hand, school safety. Now, you were sent out an email and you had a short homework assignment prior to this meeting. 2 things we're going to address is your number 1 concern and what safety measures we can take, safety measures you suggest that we could take to improve safety in the building. I don't have to tell you how important school safety is. All of us have been aware of the recent incidents in the news about school shootings and things of this nature, and we know that if the students don't feel safe in the building, educating them is a non-factor. They have to feel safe first before we can impart all of this wisdom and knowledge that we have to give them on a daily basis. So school safety is number 1. So who wants to go first, sharing their concerns or things that they think we could possibly do in this building to increase student safety?
Well, I'll begin. My number 1 concern right now is there are no alternative exits out of the building. Moore Street School is just one straight hallway, and if someone manages to take control of that hallway, they've got everybody in the school stuck in a classroom. Because the only way out of the classroom is into that one central hallway.
I'm a little big to get out of that window.
And we have exterior windows in all of our classrooms, but even if we can manage to get the bottom windows open, they're small, and the top windows are a little bit bigger, but a lot of those have been painted shut, or just because of lack of use, in an emergency situation, you may or may not be able to get those windows open. So when we consider that we do have those windows in our room, is there something there that we could possibly do to give us an alternative exit out of the building, providing somebody came in and took over the hallway and we know that that's not an option to get out? What can we do?
Get those windows functioning.
Yeah. Get the windows functioning. What would it take for us to get those windows functioning?
I really think all we have to do is just request that the maintenance department come in, and what they're going to have to do. I've looked at some of the windows and actually was able to open one, but there was a lot of resistance because as you said, there's so many layers of paint over the outsides of the windows. But I think the maintenance department needs to come in, and I would suggest, because we've got to have a balance between security of the building and getting out and people coming in too.
Right.
So I would suggest we try to set up one upper window in each classroom as an emergency exit. Not even necessary to have all of them opening.
Okay.
But if we have, I think, I've looked, I believe every classroom in the building has 3 large windows. So if we just designate, for example, that the center window in every classroom will be the emergency exit, then the students would know, no matter which room I'm in, if I can't go out the door, then that's my way
Or at
out
least
of
the
the building.
teachers would know, and if we had an emergency
Exactly.
situation, then we'll know how to proceed in order to get the students safe. So, y'all know, we always have to consider resources when we're thinking about what we're doing. So we mentioned maintenance, so it wouldn't necessarily cost the school or the system anything to get the maintenance people over here to get that done. And all they would need to do is just ensure that the windows can open with relative ease for us if we needed to make it an exit.
We need the latches to function so that we can still secure the windows, so that people can't come into the building after hours that way.
Well, Ms. Smith, can I ask you to be in charge of sending an email out to maintenance to ask them to come over to Moore Street School? And we want to designate as the large center window,
The upper,
the upper portion, to be sure that it is functional. And that's a great option, and one that won't cost us anything.
But if they want one that would cost us money, they could take one of those windows and modify it and just have it,
So you
like,
can
and put in
push,
a door.
so you can push it out.
Because you can actually knock those bricks out into a door. Way. I mean, that's a more expensive option. However, but if they are concerned about our safety and the student safety,
Because in other
that may
schools,
be
they have a
something.
door
They have
in
that
their
exit door.
Exit
So,
door.
but I mean, we always have to have alternatives and for them to look at.
Okay, and we can also put in that email, or either modify this window so that it can, function as a door. Anybody else wanna go with their concern or suggestion for how we can beef up security in the building?
I think another concern, we probably need to have an on-site resource officer.
Okay.
Because with our students, although we have the, what we call the thing, when they come in.
Metal detector.
The metal detector, when they're coming in and everything, I mean, people still can conceal things that we cannot see. I mean, look at the way they conceal some of their cell phones on a daily basis.
In my 8 years of being at the alternative school, first in the Johnson Street building and, more recently here in the Moore Street building, we've always asked, every year, it has been one of our primary things, to ask us to say, what are our needs for the upcoming year? A school resource officer has always been number 1 on our list. But because we serve such a small population, they said that they don't have funding to have an officer in this building full time. And because of that, we looked at some alternative solutions, like you see the officers walking through sometimes. This is just a community collaborative that we just partnered with the Dublin Police Department and asked them, as much as possible, can we just get walked through, different times of the day. Work great if we could have them, during our morning check-in sessions, but whenever they come, just having that police presence. So although we don't technically have a school resource officer, we do have that collaborative partnership with the Dublin Police Department, where we have officers that just, during their daily patrol will make stops in throughout our building. But once again, we can put that on our list. At the end of the year, when we're preparing for the next year, we can once again put that on our list. In light of the more recent school shootings, they may revisit that and see if there's some monies available to, allow us to have a resource officer. If not all day long, just half the day, maybe, primarily the morning part of the day. So
Another thing too, we need to make sure that community and school and family connection are keeping their doors locked, so that they don't have a way into the building and we don't know that they're in the building. Another good thing is we need to get camera systems, not only just inside of our building, we need to be able to see all around the school so that we can see somebody walking around, we can see what's going on.
Inside, but we can see-
Inside, but we see inside and out.
Okay, the fourth thing, the first thing you said was to ensure that the people that we share this building with, that they're monitoring who's coming in and out. So, monitor visitor activity. And we do a great job on our side of the building, but if somebody got in on the community and school side, you know, they may be able to just, you know, come straight through. Okay,
Well,
so-
one good thing is we started, having the double doors locked.
Awesome. So monitor, visitor activity all over the building. And exterior cameras.
Yes.
Yeah, inside of our classrooms, that, you know, we all know that there's cameras operation and functional, so, you know, we can see what's going on inside the classroom. But that don't help if we have an intruder that's outside, you know, outside of the classroom.
And Ms. Allen made an excellent point about that double door between our school and communities and schools being locked. But I think we need to make periodic checks on that door to be sure it remains locked, because there are too many people in this facility that have keys to it. And we don't know if a custodian or a technology person or someone coming in, we need to always be sure that the door is locked behind them again.
All right, you mentioned periodic checks. What do you think about periodic checks, like at the end of each class period? You know, somebody checking on, is that too frequent? You want to check it just at break and lunch and at the end of the school day? Or what do we think is the consensus of the group as far as checking the door? And we possibly could go as far as checking this door and any other doors, like the door that leads out to the gym, and even the entrance from the outside straight into the cafeteria.
Are you gonna designate someone, have a designated person?
We can hash that out right now, but if we think that's necessary to have a designated person and how often, you know, we would wanna at least.
I think to me, the most sensible thing would just be whenever we have a class change, because the teacher should be moving to the door to help monitor the class change anyway. Just let whoever's closest to that doorway just check it at each class change, just to verify that it's locked.
Okay, so let's make sure that we have it specified in there, because we don't wanna say, well, we'll just, somebody do it, because you know how they go. Everybody thought somebody did it and nobody got it done. Everybody thought somebody did it and nobody got it done.
Whoever's the teacher in classroom number 9, which is the classroom closest to the door.
Well, the first part of the morning, we know we don't have anybody in that classroom. Well, we did now,
Yeah,
we made a schedule change. So we'll say first period, that'll be Mr. Howard. Okay. Second period, okay. Y'all keep me straight on that.
Third, Allen. Right. Fourth would be
Tanton,
Tanton.
okay.
Fifth would be
Tanton. She's still down
So she check it fourth and fifth period.
And when Newton is in the building, she could just alternate between those two.
Okay, so we're putting Newton as an alternate down for the fifth block. And sixth block, I'll check it at the end of sixth block, because she's not down there, so. And that covers the double door that separates the building.
And Mr. Howard already did walkthroughs around the building to
Yeah,
ensure
he
that the
does.
building is safe.
Okay. Any other suggestions that we can,
Tell the kids don't open that door, they don't know who that is, don't.
we can also remind that's a very good point, because remind our student,
Not
workers,
open the door, period.
student workers.
Yeah, cause like the front door, when we're here in the evening, they know Miss Allen, somebody's at the door. I tell them you're not allowed to open that door.
Should notify adults
Yeah.
when visitors
Cause the
arrive.
copier guy came the other day and I stood and looked at him, I said, I'm sorry, I don't know who you are, do you have ID? And the only reason he got in, cause Mr. Howard knew who he was, Mr. Howard said he's fine, but he was not coming in, cause I didn't know who he was.
You know, we'd rather err on the side of caution.
Exactly.
We'd rather have somebody a little upset with
Yes,
us because we didn't
exactly.
recognize who they were, then just open the door and, you know, put our students at risk, so. One concern that I have, I know right now, we have recently went to the remind system with our cell phones if we needed to get a message out, but here's my, and I know that's a good system, considering we don't have an intercom system. We need to have some way to get everybody's attention if something happens, and that's one possible way. But what if you're at your board, working one-on-one with a student, and you don't hear your phone and you don't get the remind, so you didn't hear it at that moment.
Well, I was at the board the other day when he kept sending that one, and I was teaching, and it kept going ding ding, but I thought it was somebody else. He was telling us it was the drill, but I was with my kids, so he had to come to my door, or something happened, and somebody said, I said, oh, okay.
Well, I was already thinking about that
So
before
I
I
was
was
like-
when I was preparing for this meeting, and one of the things that I think we could possibly do is get a foghorn to be the sound of alarm. That's the foghorn. You can buy them the little canned foghorns. You can hear it all over the building. That's our code red. We have life or death situation going on in the building. You don't have to be, even if you're at your classroom or in the restroom, you'll still hear it. You could be in the gym probably and still hear a foghorn go off.
I like that.
And a foghorn is relatively inexpensive. I actually looked it up. You can buy one for about $9.
Because mine was just going, I mean, it wasn't just going, but I don't respond.
So will
when I'm
everyone
teaching.
get one in their class? So, because you never know who will be the person who notifies you.
Yeah, I suggest that we have one in the front office, in the main office, the principal's office, and each classroom. Anywhere possible, students could be on the campus. We should have it in a designated area, and if we have a code red, active shooter, a fight, an intruder, anything that would be, life or death situation,
Right.
so we can sound the alarm, and everybody would know what that is. So everybody good with that.
Now,
And
what is the protocol if you hear the horn?
Like you just said, fight, and then we're talking about an intruder. Now, if I hear it, is it a fight? Do I come and help you, or do I go and hide me and my children?
Do I lock my
Yeah,
door?
listen, the foghorn
Bunker
code,
in.
the foghorn code red is not something that's just day to day. If two kids get in a scuffle in the classroom, we're not.
Okay,
doing that.
that's why I was like, clarify that for me.
Yeah, but if a kid pull a gun on another
Oh,
kid
yeah,
in the classroom,
that's different.
or that's
That's
cause for a foghorn. So something that would fall under that code red. We got the code yellows, a soft lockdown, that those procedures. But I'm talking about full out code red would be the only time that foghorn is in use. What we think about that? Because we want to talk about the problems now, because if we decide on it, everybody's in consensus and we go with it. We don't want to, the next meeting thinking, well, I don't know about the foghorn, this is.
If you hear the sound of the foghorn, though, your next action is just to
Lock
lock your
down.
door, keep all your kids in your room, and
Get away from the
Shelter
doors
in
and the
place.
windows.
Yeah.
shelter in place.
So the door should already be locked, because that's one thing that we recently, talked about, is keeping our classroom doors locked and closed. So that should already be in place. With the new policies, you get away from the doors and the windows, and we've already designated areas in our classroom where that would take place if we had a code red situation. And one other thing that I was thinking about as far as the code red, we're supposed to get the red sheet of paper and put the number of students in the room outside the door.
Mhm.
Now, I started, my mind started going, y'all know that mind sometimes, and I'm thinking if every room has a red sheet of paper slipped out of it with a number on it, the shooter might say, oh, this is the number of people in the room. They may make the connection that it's the number of people in the room. So I was thinking just this morning, what if we correlate the numbers with the alphabet, like A equals 1, B equals 2, and we
So
just
like
put the
a-
letter.
Yeah.
They're not gonna be taking the time out to say,
Yeah.
well, C.
Absolutely.
You
But
know,
then
or
I gotta
E.
take the time out to figure out what letter is F.
Well,
The
I
reason
tell
we
you
say
what,
this-
you know how many students you have in your classroom, fourth period? whatever class period,
Just put
you
up
just
the
place
number, yeah.
those numbers and associate their alphabet with it. Yeah, what have you.
And the good thing
I
about
hope I
us is
remember.
that our class size is not
Not
supposed to
real
supersede
heavy, yeah.
15. So
15,
we already know we're dealing with, you know, the letters between A and whatever the 15th letter of the alphabet is. So, you know, we.
Oh.
Okay, and we're dealing with A. Thank you, Miss Al. We're dealing with A and O already because we're not going to have more than 15 at
A through O?
one given time. So we can, instead of putting the number, because we don't want to, you know, they say, oh, it's 12 people in this room. Let's go. Let me just go in here. We don't know if they can make the connection or not make the connection. But if you just see a random letter out, they may not, know or care, what that may represent.
And then you said move away from windows and doors. In my room, you can see everything. There's nowhere for us to hide out of the view of the window, and there's nowhere for us to go out of the view of the door. Because when we did that drill, I went, oh God, if somebody was at the window or at this door, we would not be safe.
Now the door can be an easy fix because we can just, we can have the little thing that's taped up, and if you want to cover the door,
just
let it drop down. Cover the glass in the door. We can, make sure you can roll up some bulletin board paper and just tape it up there. And you snatch that tape off, and it just fall down and cover the window.
And behind your desk.
That's something
Is
simple.
where I'm going.
Now from those,
That's why I wanted, but I couldn't fit all my keys back.
Behind your black curtain.
No, and I told him, I said,
Behind the
no,
bell.
and I told him, I said, y'all better go behind the black curtain, or y'all better go under the desk, and that is where we're gonna have to go. And that dropping the thing down, you wouldn't be able to know we're there.
And turn your lights off.
yes.
Yeah.
Turn the lights off. Okay.
Turn lights off, and I was gonna suggest we could possibly flip up a table. You can flip
Oh,
up
yeah.
a table
Okay.
and create a barrier. Because we all have tables in our room with these computers on them.
Okay.
You can.
And I don't care about the computer that
You
day.
flip up a
Sorry.
table and you can,
Computer can be
create a
purchased
barricade.
online.
You can create a barricade, something that, everybody can crouch down behind.
Yeah, 'cause that's what I told my kid. I said, I don't go behind the desk or the black curtain. Y'all either come with me,
Turn off light, and what was the next thing? Flip
flip the paper down.
up
Flip
table
up there. I gotta do that
to
like
create barrier
Can y'all take me off the desk?
and
Please.
No, it's.
let's just turn on a little air. So we got turn off the lights, cover the window and the door, cover door window, flip up tape.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, turn it off.
How's that? All right, Ms. Simpson, concern or possible safety measure that we can take?
One of my concerns now is the behavior that students have or things that students do outside of school when it comes to school. I mean, sometimes things happen in the community and it's brought here, it spills over to the next day.
And that's like, but one of our students' house got shot up the other day. They didn't get him home. They could have easily come to the school to get him here.
And that's one of the
That's
issues
true,
you
too.
have when we have a
I didn't
neighborhood
think about
school.
that.
Moore Street is considered a neighborhood school. The school is right in the middle of a neighborhood. So we do have those concerns. And it could not have anything to do with any of our students. It could just be something happening at any of these houses across the street that put us and our students in imminent danger. What can we do?
That's like that morning when we came in that situation and happened at the house.
What can we do? So we talk about concerns. We want to be able to address those concerns. One thing is just remain alert. We need to remain alert. because
Listen.
Pay attention to the students.
Okay.
Sometimes you want to don't shut off those conversations. You get those conversations so you'll know what's going on and how to behave.
We can remain alert and listen to our kids, listen to our students. One other thing, and now this goes in all safety protocols, and I know we're reaching our time here. This goes along with all safety protocols. We can continuously remind our students that if you see something, say something.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
if you see something, say something, and even the adults. You know, sometimes we're like, oh, well, that something didn't quite look right, but we may or may not want to be confrontational. But if you see something, say something, because you would always want to err on the side of caution and risk, you know, somebody being slightly upset with you than to put, you know, this entire building, student and staff, in imminent danger. You know, that's something we don't want to do. So if you see something, say something. We always remind our students about that.
And a lot of times they will tell you. They'll just come to you when they know nobody's around.
See something, say something. All right, is there any other thing that's pressing that you want to get out? You want everybody to have equal opportunities in these collaboratives. You know, no one person dominating the conversation, because, you know, your thoughts matter, just like everybody's thoughts are, you know, equal. They matter here.
You know, at one time, we had parents that would enter the building, and instead of them stopping by the office, they'll just come directly to the teacher's classroom. You know, and that to me is a concern, because sometimes they're after another student, you know, because of something that has happened prior to, you know, with their child or what have you, and they're trying to reprimand their student rather than go through the office. You know, and it's like you stop them, but but they're already there.
Right.
You know? So that to me,
Having a student sit at the door, notify, you know, sit in the front, and then notify the door if a visitor comes, and we're making sure that everybody checking in. I think that's one way that we can alleviate that. If we have an irate parent that just want to push past it, you know, obviously we have to go, you know, go to the next, you know, measures in place to deal with those. You know, the adult in the classroom will have to step out and, you know, take care of the Mr.
yeah.
You wrote 911.
Yeah, you went 911.
But I mean, it's what, yeah. I mean,
911 is always 911 is always an option.
But I looked up, and there's a parent in my face like, where are you?
Yes,
In my classroom.
you are designated 911.
Well, being the adult in the classroom, then it's, you know, it's our job to, you know, protect our students. So we have
I just
you know,
don't
when
want to
our
say it
parent get to that point, then we, you know, say, well, this is not how we handle it. You know, make sure we keep them at bay, and, you know, then we move accordingly.
Yeah.
I don't think any parent should be at your classroom anyway. If a parent needs to see you that urgently, Ms. Smith and Mr. Howell can come get you.
That's right.
Which is what they do.
And which is the protocol.
That's the protocol.
They won't be coming to your classroom.
Yeah, but they have it. They
Oh,
have,
yes.
you know, I looked up and there they were.
We have the sign-in sheet here. We need to make sure we get everybody's signature on the sign-in sheet to verify that you attended the collaborative, because it, you know, when I have to show verification of this, I can't just say, well, yeah, Miss Smith and Miss Allen was there. I need your signature to prove that you was there, which is
It's
just,
not in writing.
it did not happen, which is just part of the protocol as well.
Yeah.
If there's no other pressing issues, we're gonna call this collaborative a close. I do appreciate the input. I will compile all of these, all of our suggestions and new implementations, and send them out to you all in the email form, and we'll review them, you know, at the next appropriate time. All right, thank y'all so much. And make sure you sign the sign-in sheet before you leave.
And you can pass that this.
Pass it, okay, then you must be trying to leave.
No.